Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today for my September #Team Project Pan 2022 update. Now, I've made some good progress and I've made some bad progress. It is what it is. But I feel like the good progress is hopefully going to trump whatever bad progress I've been making. So if you're new here, this is a sort of year-long rolling full face project pan. What that means is I sort of have something for every category. If I use something up, I replace it with something similar. So if I use up a powder, I'll bring in a new powder, and I'm always trying to make progress on some older products that I don't want anymore, or products that I like but don't love, and I just want to use up. It is what it is. I'm trying to minimize my collection if possible. And I find project panning is just a fun way to sort of keep you motivated and make it a little bit more fun to use up your makeup. Before I do continue, I'm just going to let you know that I'm currently working on a Kaleidos review. So they've released a new collection. There's 2 eyeshadow quads and some multi-chrome liners. I'm wearing some of it today. So everything else on my face is project pan. So the base, the highlighter, the blush, the bronzer, the lip, the brows, they're all project pan stuff that I'll be discussing in this video. But the eyes, there's a review coming soon. So that's what's going on there. All right, as per usual, I like to start with the products that I've used up, and this check-in, there's only one, unfortunately, but I feel like I'm close on a few. So I could, I'll get to it soon, but I'm very close. So I used up my powder. This was predictable because last month, if you saw where it's at, I knew I was going to use it up, and I did. I used it up really quickly, so that is the Nabla powder gone. Now, last month, I did preemptively introduce a new powder, so the MAC. This is the Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in Light Plus, and I have been using this a lot, to the point where I feel like the dome has sort of gone down, so it's sort of flattening out. I use pressed powders at a really fast rate because I have oily skin, and to set my base, it actually needs quite a lot of powder to absorb the powder and set it, because things just sit on my skin quite oily. So yeah, I will have a photo of the screen of where this was at before. If you can't see it clearly here, I'll have a comparison to where it's at now, but hopefully you can see that that dome shape is starting to flatten out because I have been using it quite a lot, and yeah, I use pressed powders really fast. It is what it is. Now, I will also be introducing another powder product because I figure why not, I can, and I have been using this product alongside my Project Pan products, and it's been working in quite nicely. So last month I introduced a new foundation. This is my Revlon Color Stay, and it was up to there when I introduced it last month, and in the last month I've used it down to there. So what I did, I scraped down the side, and the settle line is there. So I've used quite a lot of it, and I feel like there's only maybe a month left, because yeah, I can get through this pretty quickly. Surprisingly, this is a fairly, I always thought it was more higher coverage. I find it with a sponge, like a damp sponge, it is more medium coverage. So I find that whenever I use this, I use quite a few pumps and it's going pretty fast. So because I feel like this is going to be done in a month's time, and I feel like I'm making really good progress on my powder, I'm going to introduce a powder foundation, so best of both worlds. Now, this is from Nude by Nature, and I have been pulling this out recently. I've got sort of like a makeup bag that I keep on my sink of all my Project Pan stuff and just sort of stuff that I use every day, and this is sort of organically just slipped in there, so I thought, why not just include it as well? It's a really good shade for me at the moment. I feel like as the weather changes, we're currently just started spring, I feel like this might stop being a good color for me. So it's a good time to use it up. So it's sort of up to here. I have weighed this and I'll keep track of the weight. But essentially what I like to do is sometimes I'll use this by itself if I want a low makeup day. Sometimes if I find that I've got areas that are wearing down or I've got redness coming through, I might touch up with this throughout the day. And other days I'll just use some sunscreen, which I'll talk about in a second, and a bit of concealer. Put the concealer under eyes, around the nose, on the chin, like the areas where I get most redness, and then I set it all with this. So I like to use all of these in conjunction. I just figure why not also include it in my Project Pan. So we're adding a mineral powder foundation into the Project Pan this month. All right, let's talk about some visual progress items because they're always the most fun when you can see good progress. I do have my Fourth Ray Beauty. This is the Glisten Up Illuminating Mist. I'm just not using, look, there's a reason, but I'm not using finishing sprays as much as I have in the past. Other times I've gone through large bottles really quickly. This year I've been really struggling. I just don't think I've been using it as much. And also I found that the mascara I currently have in my project pan, it just transfers a lot if you over apply finishing spray. So there's been a couple of times this month where I've thought I've finished my makeup. I'm like, I'll use some finishing spray. And then I blink and all of a sudden I've got all this like wet mascara under my eyes. And I'm like, oh shit. And I have to wipe it off and redo the concealer and then touch it up again with a little bit more foundation and then set it and then try to blend in the bronzer or blush or highlighter, whatever I've got going on, and then fix the mascara. And I'm just like, it is such a headache. So I have to be really sort of light-handed with this, but I have been trying to make sure I use it a lot more regularly, which is why I'm getting some decent progress. So that was last month, that's this month. We're seeing some okay progress, and I could preemptively add in another one of these because chances are I'll use that up this month, but I really don't want to because I feel like the pressure is going to be annoying. Like, I'm struggling to use it as it is until I use up that mascara, and my next mascara hopefully doesn't run with finishing sprays. I really don't want to overload myself with finishing sprays. Powders and foundations I can overload myself with because I know I consistently wear them, but I don't consistently wear finishing sprays. So this, we're going to just keep going. Let's talk about this. It happened last week and I'm so excited. My highlighter, my Dior fancy highlighter, which I'm wearing today. It's a really beautiful color. So it doesn't look metallic or frosty or anything here, but when you catch the light, you're like, beautiful. I'm actually wearing like a shimmery blush as well, so it's a combo. So when I wear this by itself, it's not as bold, but it's a beautiful color and it matches me all year round. So this is the Illuminating Pressed Powder 001. Look what's happened. I hit pan on it. So I'll have where I was up to last month. I was just feeling like I was making no progress on it despite using it quite a bit, and this month I actually decided to use this one day as an eyeshadow. So I put my eyeshadow brush in just as a quick like wash of color on the eye, and bam, I hit some pan. So this is very, very encouraging. It also means that I'm more inclined to want to reach for it because I can see every time I use it the pan getting slightly bigger. So that's really great. I'm very happy with that, and I'll continue to use it because I enjoy it. Another product that I sometimes use as an eyeshadow, just as an everyday sort of thing, is my Nabla bronzer. So I introduced this last month. I'm actually making some decent progress on it. This is a baked sort of gelée formula product, so it's quite firmly pressed in the pan, and it takes a bit of buffing to pick it up. But it is a nice product. I like the color. I'm wearing it today. It suits my coloring at the moment. Sometimes I bring it down my neck a little bit. So it's getting use. And I feel like the pan is starting to look a little bit like there's indents, there's usage spots. But I'm just not too sure if you can see compared to last month if the design has gone down a bit more. I'm not too sure, but I know I've been using it a lot. So we'll see how we go with that one. Another face product I've been using pretty much every day is my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Stereo Rose. I love this. I explained last month when I introduced it that I'm only introducing it because it's getting old. And I feel like I don't need a highlighter blush combo product that's probably like 6-7 years old. Like, it's getting old. It still works beautifully and I love it, and it's matching my skin tone really well lately. So I'm just going to enjoy it and use it up while I can, back to MAC it, and then if it ever comes out again, I can decide if I want to buy it again. But it is lovely. So I'm wearing it today, and that's why I've got a bit of extra luminosity. So this actually gives a bit of like a peachy pink, it's like a light illuminated blush highlighter effect. So it's a really good one and done product on a daily basis. You can just throw it on, you've got your blush and your highlighter, and it's just a really beautiful smooth formula, and it gives this sort of glowy, peachy sort of pink soft effect. I really love it. And again, I don't know if you can see much usage, but the pan, again, this is a domed baked product, and the it's starting to level out. So I have been using it a lot. Obviously not as much as face powder because I don't cover my face in this, but almost use it every day. Last month, I also introduced 2 other blushes just to test out and see if I get much use out of them. Now, the problem with these are that I'm enjoying the mineralized skin finish so much, so I just don't really reach for these. But I thought I'd add them in for a bit of variety, and also for when I want to use the highlighter, the Dior highlighter. Layering it like I've done today is a bit overkill on a daily basis. It's fine when I'm filming, but on a daily basis, I don't go in with a glowy blush and a highlighter. So I thought when I want to use the highlighter predominantly, I can use one of these blushes. So I added in this Tarte blush. This is the Party Amazonian Clay 24-hour blush, and it's in this sort of mauvey pink shade. It's a matte. I have used this maybe 2 or 3 times. So I don't know if I'm going to continue with these in my project, just because I don't really reach for them. The MAC Seduced at Sea Extra Dimension Blush is more of a terracotta-y orangey blush. It does have a like satiny finish, but you can definitely put highlighter on top of it. Again, I like this. I'm just not reaching for it as much as my MAC Stereo Rose. I'm thinking of taking these out and maybe introducing them next year. But realistically, I'm just trying to think, how much am I actually going to, how much blush am I going to wear this year? We're already at the start of September. I'm going to be taking October off, so I probably won't be here much of October, which means that I will skip a check-in, and I've only got a couple of check-ins left of the year. So I'm not going to see much. I may as well focus on one blush is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to take those 2 out for now. And just focus on Stereo Rose. When it comes to the Dior highlighter, I have noticed that sometimes I just wear bronzer and I don't do the blush. And that's when I'll sort of go in with the sort of glowy highlighter cheek. So I'll try to balance it out that way. But 3 blushes is probably a bit overkill. I'm just not going to see progress. So I'll focus on 1. Now, taking those out, I'm obviously not going to replace them with other blushes because there's no point doing that. But what I am going to introduce are these products that I haven't introduced eyeshadows in this project because I've been doing a project where I'm testing out my eyeshadow palettes this year. But again, because I'm taking a break in October, I'll have most of October off. I'm not too sure about dates. I'm going to actually introduce 2 liquid eyeshadows. These are by Stila, and these are the Shimmer and Glow liquid eyeshadows. And there's the shade Kitten, which is this nice sort of soft champagne-y pink color. I'll swatch it for you here. That one there. And I've also got Cloud, which I love. This is a beautiful color. It's a little bit chunky, can crack on the eye a little bit after a while because these are drying out. But this is this beautiful sort of purple color with this sort of soft champagne shimmer to it. And these are beautiful for every day. So what I tend to do is sometimes when I'm just, doing a quick makeup look, bronzer in the crease, one of these on the lid, blend it out and off you go. Now with these, I have weighed them. I had to take the stopper out. These were dried out. These came in a holiday set and I've got a few more as well. I just thought I'd see how I go with using these, and if I use them up fairly quickly, I'll work on trying to work through the collection of these because these do give a beautiful effect. It's just that they're getting old and dry. Now what I did do was put quite a lot of Duraline in each of these and mix it up with a makeup spatula. So these were dry and chunky and now they're a little bit smoother. So I'm going to work on these over the next month or 2 or 3 and see how quickly I can get through them, how quickly I use them. And again, I haven't been wanting to include eyeshadow products this year because I have been doing that eyeshadow review series, but because I'm taking a break in October, I'm actually going to resume that series after I get back. So throughout this month, I'm going to do maybe an eyeshadow palette review or 2, just isolated ones, and then I'll get back to sort of working through my collection later in the year and probably early next year. So I thought I've got enough time to play with these, so I'm adding these in. All right, more visual progress. My fragrance that I've been struggling with. This is the Escentric Molecules Escentric 04. Now, I want to say there is a new fragrance of these that just came out in Australia. It's been out overseas for a little while. It's like a mandarin one. That one is so much nicer than this one. I'm like, if I finish this one, can I reward myself by buying that one? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, last month it was up to that red spot and now it's down just a fraction. Now, I want to say this is very strong. It's very potent. I might zoom in so you can see how much I've used. It's not much. There, that's how much. And I'll mark that soon, but I just wanted to show you the line properly. Because this is so strong, I have to use the smallest amount every day. And last week I was like, oh my God, I'm making no progress. It's literally sitting just under the line. This is the worst product to pan ever. And then I decided to start using it in the fancy schmancy way, where you spray a couple of sprays in the air and sort of walk into it. So I've started doing that, which means I use instead of using 1 to 2 sprays every day, I use 4, and I'm starting to make a little bit of progress. So I'm going to start using this in the fancy schmancy way where, if your fragrance is way too strong and overwhelming, spray it in the air and sort of walk into it so you get a little light misting. To be fair, I feel like that's wasting it a little bit, but if I enjoy it more that way, it is what it is. And I also feel like it doubles almost like a room spray. So hopefully next month I'll see more progress changing how I'm using it. But for the last few weeks, I'm like, there is no progress despite using it pretty much every single day. So it is a hard fragrance to pan. Just putting it out there. Last month, I also introduced a few lip products. Now I have been consistently using these almost every day. I'm wearing one today. I'm wearing my Hourglass. This is a refill. It's my One Desire. Now this, I'll have to have a comparison on the screen. I know I've made progress because I have been using it virtually every day. But this is a really, really pigmented lipstick. You need the smallest amount. And I find on a daily basis, it's actually quite bold for me. So even though it's a pinky nude and you think, okay, that's fairly subtle, because it is such a pigmented, bold lipstick, if I'm wearing very, very minimal makeup, this actually stands out like it's too much. So what I tend to do is put it on, blot it down a little bit, work it in. And that's how I've been sort of using it every day. So comparison will be on the screen. I don't know how much I've used. And then what I tend to do throughout the day is I reach for my next lip product, which is the Linda Hallberg Fantastick Pink Opal sort of tinted lip balm, which I've got very little left. And this is what I touch up with throughout the day. So I sort of start with like a muted pinky nude lip, bold but sort of blotted down. And then I sort of apply this over the top throughout the day and just sort of rehydrate it. And so these colors work really nicely together because they're both sort of these pinky toned nudes. And I hope I'm seeing good progress. I'll have a comparison of this on the screen as well from when I introduced it last month. Brow and eyeliner products. I want to talk about this first, my Kabrow. I've had this in my project all year and it has been really hard to track. Now, I did stop using it for a few months because it was drying out. I didn't have any Duraline. I finally bought some Duraline. I've since been using this a bit and you can see down the bottom there's a little dot. I'll have a close-up so you can see what I'm talking about, but I've hit pan at the bottom. And the good thing about that is now I can track that. So now I can sort of see progress increasing throughout the month and I'm more inclined to want to use this. So that little point of reference, as I sort of see it expand, I will update you. But the good thing is I'm making some visual progress finally. Can't say the same for my Bobbi Brown split liner. This is a gel eyeliner duo. There is I'm not close to hitting pan. I think I could actually use this all next year. I'm actually thinking maybe taking this out. I might take this out and I might focus on it next year because I just feel like I've got too many liners in this project. I've got a liquid and I've got a pencil and I just have been reaching for those over this. So this one I'm actually going to take out along with those blushes. We'll revisit it next year. I'm just thinking I've only got like 2 updates left, taking into account my break, and I'm just not going to see any progress on that. It is what it is. In terms of the other liners, I did weigh this. I have used this quite a few times this month, but there's been no progress in terms of weight. So when I weighed it just before, it's the same weight as last month, despite using it a few times. It's just fractions of grams are hard to pick up. So hopefully next month we'll see some more progress. But I have been using it. Whenever I wear a black liquid wing eyeliner, it's always this, but I might have done that only, let's say, half a dozen times this month, maximum 10. So obviously it's not enough to shift the scales, or maybe I had it in the wrong spot in the scales. It is what it is, but hopefully we'll see progress next month. And I've got a little e.l.f. eyebrow pencil. Again, I introduced this last month. It's a micro brow pencil. I'll have a comparison of the screen on the screen of where I was up to last month versus this month because I don't know. And same goes for the Nabla Cupid's Arrow Full Color Stylo pencil in Arrow number 2. If I have skipped over the names, I always list them in the description box. So if you want to see what the Nabla Stylo something is, I'll have it listed there. But I just sharpened this before I took photos. So down the bottom there is a little sharpener, so you can sort of sharpen it. The problem is that it's not a very fine pointed sharpener, so it sort of makes it still quite chubby, which stops this from being a good top lash line liner. Sometimes I pick it up with a brush, like an angle brush, and I will use it as a liner, or sometimes I'll like put it on and then sort of smudge it into a better shape. But it's really hard to get like a precise point with this because it's just not designed for that. But I always use it on my waterline. I tight line with it. So I'm making small progress. But if I do continue to sharpen it, I'll see more progress. So I might remind myself every so often to give it a sharpen so it's a little bit easier to use and so I can see progress quicker. But comparison compared to last month will be on the screen. All right, now onto things that I've had to weigh to show progress. I've got my SPF, which I sort of put in my primer category. I'm not actually including sort of skincare in this project pan this year, but I'm sort of using this as a bit of a primer because the color it's like a purpley color. It's a funny color. So I've been mixing this with my foundation, or I've been mixing it with my concealer to make like a tinted SPF. Now this works really well as creating like a tinted base with the concealer, so I'm going to focus on using it up that way. But mixing it with my foundation, it sort of like shears down the foundation too much, so I can't really use this as a mix with my foundation. That is what I was doing previously. But next month I might focus on using this with the concealer to use up the concealer. I think I'm really close to finishing up the concealer, which is my Shiseido one here. Again, sometimes I use it just under the eyes, around the nose, and with the powder foundation. Sometimes I mix it with these two. So I put them both on the back of my hand. I'll get a sponge or a brush and I'll sort of mix them together as a light sort of tinted SPF, and it works really well. I'm going to focus on both of these. These feel both almost empty. Last month I had to take the stopper out of this one, and I feel like I'm sort of just scraping the sides. I could potentially introduce a new concealer this month, but I don't really want to because I'm not sure which one to include just yet. Hey Bobbi, how you doing, sweet pea? Come on, give me a cuddle. That's a camera. It's a camera, sweetheart. Mommy. How was your nap? Good. Good? Microphone. Microphone, yeah. Okay, I've got to rush this. I've got a toddler sitting here. Hey, Bobbi. Anyway, so I have the weight of this on the screen. I'm nearly done. I've used over, I think, 10 grams this month, so there's barely any left. So again, I'm not going to replace it preemptively, but this will be done next month. And I think the same will be for the concealer. So weights will be on the screen. These are nearly done. Another thing that's nearly done is my mascara. Now I have the weights on the screen. This is starting to look, previously I had to like scrape a lot off my hand to not have a clumpy lashes. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm like building to actually get something on there. So I feel like this is like almost done, and I might give it up in a few days because it's starting to get frustrating, and it also doesn't work well with my finishing spray. So I am actually preemptively introducing a NARS Climax Extreme Mascara Mini. I'm going to see how this goes. If I don't like it, I'm going to get rid of it and introduce another one next time. But those two, yeah, I've taken the weight of this one, and this one's going to be back to MAC ASAP because it's annoying. All right, the last thing is my Urban Decay primer potion. I've used about 0.6 of a gram. So again, I'm making progress. This contains only 10 mils, so roughly 10 grams. There's still quite a lot in there. I'm hoping to use it by the end of the year, but there's usage. It's just taken some time. And also I think if I'm going to be using those Stila products, I won't be using this as much, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, we're gonna go off and have some lunch, aren't we, Bubbaloo? And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Did you say bye bye? Bye bye. Good job. You're eating your hand. You wet chicken boy. Yeah. Okay, sweetheart.